Hey, it's about midday. Actually, it's like 11 something, so it doesn't matter. This video is about time, money, compound interest, and the 4% rule. Now, these are all things I got from a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. It's 132 pages long. I think it was written in the 20s. And it's about how average men with average salaries can make it and enjoy a very good retirement life. So um, I'm not selling anything. You don't have to join or subscribe. You don't have to like. There's no Patreon here. I will never take advantage of you. I will never sell you anything. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this to give back. Um, there are not enough people in the world. Let me just be honest. I'm here to help men. Here to help young men in particular. I don't want to see you run into the same roadblocks, have to deal with the same insanity. I don't need you to relearn something that I've already learned. So if I can help you along the way, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm never going to try to take anything from you. I don't have a Patreon. There's no membership program. I'm not trying to monetize my information. And I fucking hate scammers. I hate you salespeople, you scammers. Young men, especially young men, have a very difficult road. And rather than help them, you just want to try to extract some fucking resources from them. Yeah. That's fucking bullshit, and you don't have to put up with it. There isn't anything you can't learn online about money, but I'm going to tell you how you can make time, money, compound interest, and the way to save yourself is to add the 4% factor. All right. We as men have a limited amount of time on earth. My advice, and here's the caveat, my advice is not for women. I'm not a woman. I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I can't explain what it's like to go through life as a woman. That's why my advice is not for you ladies. If you want to listen, fine, but don't try to come on here and tear somebody down because you don't like men or you ran into a bad guy. All guys aren't bad, all women aren't bad. So I'm not saying anything, but my advice is not for women. Right. And how do I say this? Can I say this? I'm not sure if I can say this on YouTube. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. I'm not doing this for you to do something for me. You don't owe me anything. I don't want anything from you. So here we go. Men have 4 stages of their life. And whether you want to admit it or not, it's okay. But their first stage is called dreamer phase, about 11 to 13 to age 24. That's when you can dare to be great. You can be a rapper. You can be a race car driver. You can be a baseball player. You can be a football player, basketball player. You can do any kind of athletics you want to do. You can get in the music industry. You can do whatever you want to do during that time and dare to be great. There's nothing wrong with that. That is part of it. On top of that, when you're in high school, you're supposed to try out hundreds of different things and to find out what you want to do in life, what you're good at and what's productive and what's not. If you ever get involved in an industry that doesn't produce anything, you're not building a road, you're not making food, you're not building a car, you're not doing a product, you're like one of these multi level marketing things, you're fucking stupid. That's fucking a waste of your time. And your time is the most valuable asset you have in your life. So let's get on with it. Time. You have a limited amount of time. The second phase of your life is your career phase, and that's from age 24 till I'd say 3 years before you want to retire. I picked age 50 as my long range plan. I wanted to be retired, completely retired, by age 50 so that I could enjoy some of the later parts of my life while I was still physically able to do the things I wanted to do, go for walks, exercise, swim, fish, all that kind of stuff, hike. And if you're broken down, you can't do that shit. So that was my goal, age 50. That was my long-term plan, which is your very first plan, is always your long-term plan. When do I want to retire? So we have two of the phases of our life as men out of the way. Our dreamer phase, 11, 13 to 24. And then from 24 till we want to retire, and we're going to pick an arbitrary age of 50. All right? So we want to retire by age 50. Then the third phase of your life is what's called the transition into retirement. There's about a 6 to 18 month transition period when you stop working. And if you're doing something that you love, you can slow down, but you don't have to completely abandon it. If you've made a great business and you enjoy it, there's no reason for you to have to retire. But you should be doing it on your terms. So that's the third phase, is when you kind of transition, when you slow down, when you pass the keys off to somebody else, where you're just more of a consultant than you are running a business, that kind of thing. And you start to enjoy the fruits of your labor. All right. The final phase of your life covers retirement to death. And I don't want to scare you or shock you, but none of us are getting out of this alive. And you can either come to grips with that or not. Um, Again, now we'll go back to time, money, and compound interest. One of the easiest things you can do for yourself in your life is to take 10% of everything you make and keep it for the rest of your life. It doesn't belong to anybody else, and it only goes to somebody else or whoever else it goes to after your death. All right. Now there's a way you can buy stocks without a broker. It's called Computer Share. ComputerShare.com. Computer Share. No, I'm not selling anything. No, I don't get a kickback. No, I don't get anything for hustling them or anything else. But once you buy a share of a stock, and I never in my life bought stocks that didn't make anything. Walmart, Amazon, oil, gas, Exxon before it became Exxon Mobil, um, power utility companies, because we all need. I only invest in things that produce a product or a service that everybody needs. I got my information from a guy, I call him the Wizard of Omaha, Berkshire Hathaway's. Warren Buffett is his name. Um, I modeled my life after him. He doesn't spend tons of money. That dude's a fucking billionaire. Try to buy one share of Berkshire Hathaway and get a surprise if you're lifetime. What? anyways, all I'm saying is that if you are willing to dedicate as much time as you can to getting ahead, you got to do it smart. That means that you have to invest your money. All right, your money's never going to get sick. It's never going to get tired. It's never going to take a day off. It's not going to give you any problems unless you squander it, give it away. So, what we do is we put our money to work. We take and we find out what we make on a monthly or weekly or daily basis, and we take 10% of that. And that's ours to keep. No one gets that. I don't spend that money. That money, whether I want to use it or not, doesn't go for anything except from this investments. And investments in stocks, in bonds, and things that produce something. Power companies, food. We all need food. We all need shelter. Those are the only things I invest in. I don't invest in anything I can't understand. And I have never gotten involved in a pyramid scam. I always saw those guys coming from 1,000 miles away. So what I do is I would say, you know what? I think Walmart's pretty good. I shop at Walmart. So I have a Walmart credit card that I pay off because its APR, annual percentage rate, is outrageous. But if you pay it off, you don't have to pay that. And I get a 5% kickback on my using my Capital One Walmart card. Um, and I also buy stock in Walmart. I also buy stock. I've also have stock in Amazon. I've had stock in both of those companies for a very long time. One of my oldest stocks is Exxon, and that's before it became ExxonMobil. And here's how you use time and compound interest. So I figured I could afford maybe when I was younger $100, and then it became $120, and then it became $150, and it became 200 a month to invest. So I took $100 and I invested it initially in Exxon. Exxon was my first company. My second company was Coca-Cola. Then Duke Power, Chesapeake, California Water, Amazon, and some other things like that. And Amazon actually is not a drip stock, so that's not included in this, but it's just something that have really enjoyed the profits from investing in it. All right, so what I do is I say, I can afford to invest $100 this month. And what I do is I buy $100 of Exxon. No, it's an Exxon Mobil stock. So my $100 goes direct deposit from my checking account into Exxon Mobil through ComputerShare. ComputerShare takes a little bit, and I get the stock, and now I'm a stockholder of record. And they'll send you a form. How do you want your dividends reinvested? How do you want your dividends dispersed? Dividends are you took the time as an individual investor to invest in our company. We made money, so we're going to share that with you. What I always do is I reinvest all of my dividends and I never touch them. So what that does is it takes time and compound interest. For 12 months, I invest $100 in Exxon. At the end of that year, I have $1,200 in Exxon. On top of that, 4 times during the year, the company declares a profit or a loss, and that's where they give you a dividend. And they normally always pay a dividend, and sometimes they don't. That's true, but you don't lose anything. Um, I always take my dividends and reinvest them so that you get a additional fraction of a share. And over time, that becomes like a snowball you push down a hill. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And once I got to about ten to $15,000 in stock in one company, I would stop feeding it and just let it feed itself. The dividends would be reinvested and it would just continue to use time and compound interest to make more stocks. There's also such things as stock splits. Uh, Anyways, when they want to invest in another company, when Exxon become Exxon Mobil, I got the double the shares I had in Exxon because they had to give me the same amount of shares I had in Exxon because they purchased Mobil. So I just doubled my money. The same things happen with Coke, or they have a buyback program. Anyways, I don't want to get too deep into the woods on this, but you need time and money and compound interest. Now, what I did at the end of the year, and this is usually I do it not at the end of the year, I do it the first month, January, about January 10th to 15th. I sit down with each individual investment I have and I figure out what it costs to buy one complete share. And then I times that times 4%. And I add that to the amount of money. That is to fight off inflation. If you forget to include a 4% cost, you can even call it the cost of doing business. If you forget to think about inflation, you're going to hurt yourself. So, at a minimum, once a year, add 4% to your investments. Okay? Hopefully, I know this is like a 15-minute video, but no one ever talks to us about money, how to get ahead. Again, I'm not selling anything. You don't owe me anything. My information isn't life shattering or anything like that. But if you don't know, you don't know. and I'm good. You can get where you want to go, but you have to follow your plan. Your very first plan, always your first plan, is when do I want to retire? And then make sure 10% of everything you make, no matter if it's a penny, is yours to keep for the rest of your life. All right? Stay safe and healthy. Take care of each other if you can. If you can't, take care of yourself. Like a fart in a G string from West Texas, El Paso, I'm out of here. Bye bye.